Let's go. Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host
Brad Sloan.
and a special guest, Tennis Wizard. Well, welcome to the
What's up,
house.
guys? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a pleasure. It's long overdue. We were on your spaces and we really enjoyed it. And thanks for all the sharp circle work you do with Reese. I mean, I think it's a fantastic platform, and we're super excited about it. So we appreciate all that hard work. What's your background? How did you get into tennis betting, and what got you into this?
So I played tennis since I was like 5 years old. So I've been around the game for like forever. In terms of betting, I got introduced to betting in general in college, as I think a lot of people in my generation did. I'm 26 years old, so I played a lot of poker with my friends. One of them was a bookie, and he was like, "You like to gamble? Come bet on sports with me." At the time, I was like, "Oh, I'll win betting on sports. Like, I'm smart. I like to gamble." I didn't know that it's really hard to win. And then yeah, I just wanted to gamble in the Australian Open back in 2021, I want to say it was. And I had the unfortunate luck of starting betting, and my favorite player is Nadal, like all-time players Nadal. My favorite current player from the previous generation was Kyrgios. And I accidentally, I like to tell this story to people. I accidentally put 2 grand into my Bovada account, meaning to put in 200. I was depositing driving to work. I wanted to put in 0.07 ETH. I put in 0.70 ETH. Um, they have like an anti-money laundering policy, so I couldn't withdraw. So I was like, I'm gonna bet $100 every round on Kyrgios and Kokkinakis, Nadal, and Ash Barty, because my mom was a big tennis person. She was like, she's too good. They all won the tournament. We all know that was the year Nadal had that incredible comeback against Medvedev as well to cap it off. I ended up making like $2,500 off the tournament. Thought betting was the greatest thing ever. Was hooked after that. Here I am, like 5 years later,
Nice.
still
That's a cool
hooked on
story.
betting tennis.
It's a cool
And it's never gone that well for me again since then. That was the best it got. But yeah,
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, welcome to the show. All of us, three of us, I'm sure we can talk tennis for 5+ hours, and it doesn't
easily.
get old. So, I guess, without further ado, let's get into the Chengdu and Hangzhou 250s. I think there's some good storylines to talk about. The last pod we were
Absolutely.
on with Smooth, and we talked more about like the top guys, but I think this is a good opportunity to kind of dive into the mid-tier guys that had a good week. So I guess we got to start in Chengdu. So we should probably start with Tabilo. So Brad, I'll go to you. What do you make of his week? Do you think he's like back to his top 25, 30 form?
I don't know,
What
man.
are you
Like
gonna
the
humps?
big thing I noticed about Tabilo this week is I don't know if you guys saw this, but he made like 75% of his first serves. And I don't know if it's a conditions thing or a balls thing, but he made an absurd percentage of first serves for a guy who normally doesn't do that. I'm looking up the percentage right now, but I think it was over 70% in 4 of the 5 matches. So on the flip side, yeah, like we know he can play. I mean, he was really good in the beginning of what was it, 24, the first half of 24. He crack the top 20? I think he cracked the top 20.
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
So I somewhere in between, I think like he's got the game. But he's still missing some massive pieces. I mean, him and Rublev are the two nut lows at the net. Um, so like
I think he's better than Rublev. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's still
Everyone's
not good. Like there's the point is there's I don't know, I'm somewhere in between. I think with that I'll leave it. But I do think the first serve, the making 70% of first serves in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of your 7 matches definitely helps.
I agree.
Yeah. Um, I don't think he's back to that form either, but I do think it was a great week for him. I think he seems like a pretty good dude. Definitely deserved it. I did not catch a ton of him playing in that week, but I did toss a little bet on him in the finals at plus 250 on serve at 5-6, because fast hard courts and he's plus 250 on serve at 5-6. It just felt egregious. So I did end up turning the match on, and he just made balls in the tiebreaker. Like, I mean, he was just zoned in. Like, I think all these top guys, really even the top 100, have the ability on any given day to just play really solid tennis and just not miss balls and hit their spots. And I don't think Musetti was at his best level, obviously. Like, we know what he's capable when he is, but Tabilo was just putting together like good point combinations. As Brad said, like he was making the first serve and like he just capitalized on like one or two errors, forced unforced. But I don't think it would be sustainable from what I've seen. Just he's been too erratic this year. But it was nice to see him put it together there. Like he's always fun. He was
Yeah. I,
ecstatic.
I was also on the dog over combo against Musetti. It's great that it cashed, but I tend to think lefties against one-handed backhands are typically a good matchup, to be
Yeah.
honest, especially on a quick court where Musetti has a longer swing path. I mean, that was my logic in that match. I was, obviously I was lucky to, get that to come through, but I question for you guys. What kind of court do you think is the best for Tabilo? Does he prefer a quicker court or does he prefer clay? I can't really tell. Like I feel like it's all based on what he's feeling and his general level. Like he's a very confidence-based player, very
Yeah.
streaky.
I
It
think his
seems
game
like,
is
yep.
relatively neutral, even. I know it's like a weird word to like say, but like I don't think like he's like relatively like normal. Like his backswings are like pretty average. Like his strokes are solid. Like he doesn't really even cut his serve like crazy compared to a lot of lefties, I think, or like use a crazy amount of spin compared to a lot of lefties. He just puts balls in the right place
But he's
consistently.
very strange because he last year he won tournaments on three different surfaces. But
To
I
be fair,
also
Mallorca grass is a little bit weird, right? That was I think it was Mallorca he won. That's a little
okay,
bit of a
it's
weird
fair.
different grass. I'm gonna say something. I think like, it's interesting when we talk courts, I think we always think speed. But I think bounce is something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. And I think Tabilo is generally better on a court that has more bounce because I do think he's a tall guy, and I think if the ball's up, that's better for him. I don't think low balls are great for him.
He hits pretty flat, right? So, hitting that ball kind of high to
Yeah,
low, right, is an easier swing
yeah,
path for him than generating the topspin. You know,
yeah. Kind of coming from the waist and just nailing it. Yeah. Which is why Musetti's backhand should, in theory, kind of play decent to him if he's not getting fully into it.
that was a high quality match. I mean, I saw most of that third set. That was a really, really good match against
Yeah.
Musetti. So yeah, I mean, I was happy for him. I mean, that was so cool how like, afterwards the his I think girlfriend and coach they like jumped on the
Yeah.
court and celebrated with him.
Yeah.
Like it was a good I was happy for him because he's had a tough year, like
And is
especially
this the second time? Because he basically, I mean, he fell out of the top 100. So he was in the top 20, fell out of the top 100. And I want to say is that the second time in his career he's kind of done that where
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
he's been like up at the pro level and had to go back to challenge and then come back again?
Yeah. He was a qualifier in this tournament.
Yep.
Yeah.
He lost to DK Suresh like a month ago. Like kind of got
Yeah, he's
smacked.
had a rough year. He has
Which
a high ceiling, but he has also a very, very low floor, unfortunately. Like
yeah.
it's
No knock to Suresh, by the way, there. Just a player that's not ranked as highly as the players that he usually plays against. I think Suresh will make a move up in the next year as well, but that's for another time.
Just one thing to comment on another interesting stat. I think Tabilo in this Chengdu tournament won something, and he played pretty good servers, but he only won 33% of return points, which is pretty low for like a career week. Like 33%, like on a fast court, that's probably like okay, like pretty close to the median. But for a tournament champion, it's pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, he won three sets with O'Connell. Played he played three tiebreaks in the second round of qualies against Harris. Didn't even forgot about
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a close one.
that. Oh,
I mean, he just wasn't getting broken very much, honestly.
yeah, because of the 75 percent first serves. I mean, that'll do it for you. You know.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
mean,
the next guy let's talk about is Musetti. So I mean, obviously Musetti's very motivated. Like you could see that, especially how much that affected him. He's trying to make Turin. There's no doubt
Exactly.
about
That's a
it.
good call, man. Yep.
And you could see it. Like he's really, really like digging in here.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess relatively speaking, it's a pretty easy draw for Musetti. But do you what like where do you kind of view him on hard? Like do you obviously it's under his ranking because most of his points were on clay, but do you view him between 10 and 20? Do you view him between 20 or 30, or do you view him between 30 and 40? I guess we could start with you, Tennis Wizard.
At least 10 and 20. I feel like he's proved himself to be one of the top players on any surface, really. Honestly, like I mean, I find that I have some bias rating his game just because like the one-handed backhand is not always my favorite, but he takes care of business on pretty much any surface. Like the backhand's proved effective, the serve is solid, the forehand is strong, he's good at the net, like he's quick, he plays good defense. Like I mean, if I'll pull up the rankings on the side while we talk, just so I don't get delirious late at night and go forgetting about players that exist. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely 10 to 20 for me, like the top five, six, seven, eight. I don't really see anybody below him that I rate significantly higher on hard court at the moment. Maybe we'll talk about Bublik soon. 10 to 20. I'd say 10 to
All
20,
right.
yeah.
So I would have to disagree with you. I think he's probably between 25 and 30 to maybe 20 and 25, I would say in that range. His recent wins on hard at the US Open and Chengdu don't really speak volumes to me. If you look at his US Open wins, they were against Mapechi Pericard, who we know is a terrible returner. Goffin, who's totally washed, injured Kaboli, and a coughing Munar. Um, that doesn't really prove much to me, to be honest. I think he did what he was supposed to do there. And then let's be honest, Dino Prismic, who we'll talk about a little later. I think there's a little bit too much hype on him right now. Whenever he plays any guy in the top 100, he just completely falls flat and like he doesn't know what to do tactically, I feel.
Yeah,
Talented, athletic, he has all the tools, but he just hasn't put it together. He can beat up on guys that are 200 and 300 in the world, kind of like what Emilio Nava did on the Challenger circuit. But, you know,
yeah.
like
He's
whenever he
still doing.
plays some, decent player in the top 100, it's trouble. And that went three sets. Bash is a bad matchup because Musetti just gets a lot of balls back and slices and dices. And, so I'm
Yeah,
not taking too much stock into that. And Shevchenko was fatigued. Um, so. I, making a final, okay, that's wonderful, but there's no win there, which like screams, okay, this guy is between 10 and 20 in the world on hard courts. So I hope he makes Turin just because of how, pleasing he is to watch. I mean, he's a very aesthetically pleasing player. And
yeah,
I do like him. But I do think he needs to make a lot of improvements on hard. He plays a clay court game on a hard court. He tries to utilize lobs and stuff, and it's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's that effective with how big these guys hit the ball. So I'm gonna say between 20 and 25. That's kind of where I would say he
I
is.
think he's just a much more fluid mover on the clay too.
Oh,
yeah,
You know, you can
good
tell
call.
he's a natural clay court, and that's how he grew up. Uh, I mean, he's 13-9 this year on hard courts in completed matches. So if you pull out the Kaboli retirement, which was, I mean, that wasn't. I mean, I don't know if that was injury or fatigue, but Kaboli was not 100%. At 13-9, wins Diallo, Arnaldi, Shapo, Safulin, Halis, FAA, Duckworth, then wins Manny mentioned. Yeah, and that's it. So some decent wins in there, but nothing like I don't know, nothing amazing. I would tend to agree with you, Manny. That's actually I was actually lower on Musetti on hard previously, but I think I have to update my priors a little bit. I think he's probably somewhere in the 20s
Okay.
yeah.
to me.
It's more of a like who would take his spot. Like I guess I'd rate Yuri Lechka higher. Like um,
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd put Medvedev at this point. Like Mensik, just everybody's just been erratic. It's just a year of everyone being erratic. Like freaking Tiafoe's erratic, Tsitsipas is off his rocker. As is Chapo, as is Medi. No chance on Darderi, Capoli, Sarandolo, maybe.
What
Like
about
Gary,
Fokina? Fokina, he's been like he's actually been more on
yeah.
his roster than normal.
Dude, Fokina, yeah. Holger, no. I wish. I mean, Holger's been all over the place. Kachanov, maybe. Rude, can't say anything for him. Bublik, yes. Rublev, no idea right now. Felix, I think. And then, like, yes to Draper, Deminor. And then I'll give Fritz Shelton, Zverev, Djokovic, Sinner, Alcaraz, all the go.
Yeah.
Um, But beyond that, I mean, it's just hard to find guys that are like healthy. Arthur Feast probably higher, but I don't know where he's feeling right now. There's just so much iffiness. Like we could
Bear, if
talk
it's the
about,
right court, there's a lot. Yeah,
yeah,
I hear you. It's a
yeah.
weird.
It's like we could talk about Huao all day, Diallo for a
I mean,
while. Like
I thought I listened to the guys with MP9 and John Reed Tidbits Tennis their
yeah,
pod, and John actually made a good point. Like when you look at someone's results, there are very few good, quote unquote, good wins like there
yeah,
used to be, right? Like, okay, if you beat Alcaraz or Sinner, I guess that's a good win, but no one beats those guys ever, you know?
Mr. Taylor
So
Fritz.
like, okay, maybe if you beat Fritz, if you beat Djokovic, that's a
I
good
was
win.
just
But
saying, like Fritz just beat the shit out of Carlos, but
yeah, but that's Laver Cup, whatever, whatever. I mean, I'm taking the side of Brad. Like I used to like be, oh, Laver Cup is amazing, but like watching it this year, I'm like, it's a joke. It's an exhibition with,
yeah,
you
it's the
know,
NBA All Star Game.
exactly. It's nothing.
It's slightly better though. Like at least the guys are
Yeah,
trying. Like
no,
the
no,
NBA.
it's better than that. That
But
was
it's
a
also a very weird court. I feel like it's like a court
I'm
that's
not saying I want to like really take the results, like really like evaluate the results in terms of my real thoughts on players. But I'm saying at least it's not like I mean the little bit that I've seen, it's not like guys are like openly mailing it in, right? Where it's like guys are just like the NBA All Star Game guys just don't bother playing defense and like don't even run back down the court. Like the guys are at least looking like they're trying to run down balls.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I didn't mean to get us too far off topic. That was all I had to say about that. But
Yeah.
But okay, I mean, if you beat Fritz, it's a good win too, right? If
yeah,
you beat Shelton, it's a good
I
win.
think like if you beat a
but
healthy Tommy Paul, that's a good win. If
yeah,
you beat, like a Hugo Humbert indoors, that's a good win. I think if you beat like a, so I don't think it's
Yeah,
that bad.
but you're narrowing it down. Like you have to beat Ugo indoors, right? Like if Brooksby
yeah.
beats Humbert today, is that a good win?
Yes,
I think.
yes, yeah, that's a good
I
win.
mean,
Okay. All right.
I want to say beating Deminor is a good win. He's relatively consistent against players outside the top 10.
I think a lot. I don't know. I think yeah. I don't know. I think that's a little bit of an unfair statement. There's a lot of these guys in the 10 to 30 range that are like there might be less great wins, but there's still plenty of like I guess it just depends on how you define a good win and a
Yeah,
great win. That's all. It's really kind of a
You beat
definition
Tiafo, it's
thing.
not a good win.
Well, so there's yeah, I think there's a lot more movement, right? Like a lot of these guys are like you've got guys like Tiafo, um, is in kind of a tailspin. Medvedev is in a bit of a tailspin.
yeah. I was about to say,
There's
like,
guys.
do you
What's
even
that?
call beating Medvedev a good win in 2025? Like, I'm not even sure anymore.
Yeah, not. I
That's
mean,
like,
he's
I don't
shown
want to
up a
like,
couple times and shown that
yeah,
maybe it's still there, maybe like twice. But yeah, that doesn't make a
like I
good
don't want to
player.
like disrespect him. Like, I love Medvedev, but like his results are just so all
Looks
over
one
the place. Like, I
past
think,
year and a half. I wonder. I wonder if he's just done, like whether it be mentally or physically, if he's just done with the sport. If he's just like an early flame out.
I think he can recover, but he
I mean,
definitely needs.
I actually think he's kind of like Sissipas in a way. Like they both have serious holes in their game, and they're just being exposed for them. You know,
Yeah.
like Tsitsipas when he came on the scene, okay, he plays like Federer, has this attacking game, he's new on the block, right? He's exciting, this and that. And then once people kind of found what his weaknesses are and knew how to attack them, it just completely went downhill for him. And I kind of think with Medvedev, I also think there's a bit of scar tissue from two set to love finals
Yeah.
and slams. I think that kind of
But
goes
his
stated.
moment. He did win a slam.
He did win a slam, but like I think the two like two set to love up, like that was after he won the slam. And I think those affected him mentally more than people make it out to be.
No, of course. When you were that close to what you feel like could be your only chance and what you work your whole life
100%.
to get towards, like, and I mean, he has won one at least, which is good. Like
Yeah, so
Tsitsipas
he's not in
didn't.
the Zverev category, right? It's
And
not
then
that bad. But
Tsitsipas is also just such a little like lover boy, and he's got the whole Spadosa thing going on as well. He's got so much
well,
shit.
I also think the rise of Alcaraz and Sinner have demoralized him. And I actually think to an effect
Yeah.
it's demoralized Medvedev as
Or
well.
just dealing with his dad for 25 years, right? Like at some point, dealing with that guy too all the time has to be like you can
Yeah.
be like just burnt
I
out
think
mentally.
it's
I mean,
I
this is
think
really
it's
hard, man. Like these guys play all the time. Like we play a little bit and so we can have fun with it, but like these guys are playing as a job. Like at some point they
yeah.
probably just like and it's not a job that changes a whole lot, right? It's the same thing year after year after year that they've been doing since they were like 4 years old. Like at some point, yeah, they probably do get like some boredom could naturally creep in. And that's why the guys who can do it for like 10 years in a row on the pro tour, that's why we call them the greats. But I think some of it is like expectation too. Like we put this expectation now since the Big Four era. We're waiting for the next king. We're waiting and like it's almost like we have this uh mentality now of like number one or bust. And like, there's some guys who are doing some really good work. Like Taylor Fritz is amazing. He's getting everything out of what he has.
Mhm.
And nobody cares.
He's arguably now, especially seeing that win, like the one with the best shot to break through one time and disrupt what is the dominance of the top two right now. But like, yeah, I think it's demoralized literally everyone. It's got Novak on the brink of retirement. Novak would not retire even at this age if they weren't there. He'd still be winning majors. Like Zverev's given up. Shelton's still trying. I can't believe he's up to 5 in the world right now. Actually, that's incredible. I know like multiple
I
people.
but I disagree with you. I think Shelton is the more likely one to break through than Fritz.
I think that's a very fair and valid point. I think that they both have their arguing points. I personally think it's Fritz, just because I think his game's very slightly more complete, but I could also see where Shelton could have more upside and where you would just think that someone would need to bring the most incredible performance. And Shelton does have the huge forehand, the great speed, the dynamic athleticism, and the like top serve to just hit 30 aces, attack the net, hit a couple winners, win in 2 or 3 tiebreakers. Like I do see that as well.
But that's what
It's
you
also
need.
a matter of like Shelton, like I say this all the time on every single podcast. Like you got to remember, Shelton was like not really focused on tennis until he was a teenager. So like
Yeah.
he still is raw, and like the improvement over the past 3 months has been him like making improvements to his game in areas that are just like weak, or that were weak. Like his tactics were like below average because he just hadn't had the time on like really playing like competitive tennis, to develop tactics. And so like I think he's got such a high path still for development. Like Shelton's a freak athlete. Like
Yeah.
there's no reason he can't become better than Sinner. I mean, he may not. That's not saying he will, but there's no reason he can't. I don't think there's like
I would say the reason would be called coordination if there was a reason. But I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, I know people that beat Ben Shelton like high school, like people that I was like friendly with or like worked with, and they were like, "Yeah, I beat Ben Shelton once," and I was like, "That's life for you. Like you're stringing tennis rackets now, and Ben Shelton's Ben Shelton." But like, it does just show like the development went like like that, because he was from that in like high school to playing for UF to winning the challengers against
Man, he
Eubanks and
like
stuff till the
singles freshman year. I think that's like 5 years ago. He was playing six singles in the NCAA. Like,
yeah, he's only 22.
yeah.
As is
One
Alcaraz.
one thing I have to say about Shelton is that, like, unlike Tsitsipas, whose dad is just a complete nuisance and just like, very annoying and tiresome, Ben Shelton's dad is a legit coach and
Yeah,
actually an incredible father too, just to kind
Well,
of
he's also is he the only coach now on Shelton, or
I think
they're just
so. I think so. But he's just such a like a level-headed dude and like I think he's such a positive influence on Shelton, whereas like Sissipas's dad is such a negative influence. Like I don't see Shelton burning out because of his dad. Whereas like with Sissipas, it's total opposite,
I get what you're saying.
you know?
I definitely think that his dad and his family influence is helping him there for sure. Oof.
100%.
Took a nice WTA break, girls serving for set with set point, and now we're back to 5-all and we're sweating it again.
Brooksby's gonna beat Humbert.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but
Yes, he is.
we catch the Giron Corda 3 sets though, so I'm happy about that.
That is
yeah,
good.
already down to Brer. Jerome's already down to breaking the third, so I'll just catch one of the two. I mean, I'll accept it, but
That was a
yeah.
good. It was a good play, Jerome. You want to discuss Jerome a little bit while we're on that
I
note?
guess did he play in
Yeah.
Chengdu or
He
Hangzhou?
played in.
Yeah, he played one of the tournaments. He
He
lost in
played
Nakashima.
in Chengdu. Yes.
Chengdu.
lost
Okay,
in
so let's
Nakashima.
talk to Marcus Giron. So
Yep.
he likes this part of the calendar. Like he's done well in Tokyo before. I don't know. He's had a rough like I don't know before the U.S. Open. It was a rough go for Marcos.
Yeah, I mean the U.S. Open itself. I was actually in person for that match against Bonzi, where he lost in the second set. I was like probably 10 feet from him, yelling at him to pick it up. So I had some friends that bet on him.
It's pretty
But
cool.
you could just see he just wore out, man. The
Yeah.
back-to-back five setters. I mean, there were 3 days in between, so I don't know if it was fitness specifically, but whatever it was at the end of that match, you could just see he didn't have the gas left. But yeah, he's got a very short backswing and a very flat shot. So like the fast, slow bouncing surfaces there in the Asian swing, like naturally should play well to a guy like him. He definitely plays like a very aggressive. Like I feel like he'd almost be like good in like old school tennis, like the way he plays, because he's very like fluid, but he doesn't put like a lot into his shots, if that makes sense. Like it's very
His backhand
Yeah.
is very weird. He like takes a hand off the racket when he hits that backhand. I've never really understood that shot, and I think that's why it's a liability. I think it's a technical flaw. Um,
probably. I'm
I don't
not.
know. He has a high well not super high, but a relatively high ceiling, but also I would say a pretty low floor as well. Um,
Yeah,
I mean he's an enigma to me.
I
I
don't know.
I kind of defer to others when talking Marcos Giron. It's more the spot when I back him, I would say, and the price. What's your take on him, Brad?
I think it's really tough, man. Like if you don't have the power, it's really, really tough. Like if you look at all the top guys, they all hit a big ball with, you know what I mean? And like even Demoner's added a lot to his game in terms of added a lot more power. And I don't think he has enough weapons to like he has to do everything right to like beat top 20, top 30 guys. Like I think he's just kind of a grinder journeyman. And like that's okay. Like I think he's gotten a lot out of what he is, and I think like he's I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just I think in this era it's really tough. Like if you don't have like how he's also pretty short, right? For a pro player. Like what is his height?
let me look. I can tell you guys that.
Now he's under 6 foot. So like he's just if you're not
5'11". He's
yeah.
5'11".
If you're not, I mean, most of these guys now are 6'2", 6'3", and those 3 inches make a big difference. Make a big difference on the serve, which his serve is okay, but not great. Like it's just really hard if you don't have the bit, especially on like the clay, right? It gets really hard to win. And he doesn't have like the freakish athletic, like the athleticism of like a Demonor, and he doesn't have like or like a Medvedev in his prime. So like,
I mean, Alcaraz is also 5'11", 6 foot.
well, Alcaraz is a freak though, right? Like, and he's got a ton
Alcaraz
of, he's
not
super strong,
human.
super what?
He's
He's
not
not
human.
human. He's not human, man. Like he's just
Yeah.
he's just great, man. Like he's that guy. He's exactly what tennis needed. He's 6 foot, but like I mean,
He was
he's just
built. He was built to play tennis. Like
he
when he
was
came out of the womb, he was like he had a tennis racket in his hand. Like
I'm not
it's
yeah, I'm
incredible.
not big on like destiny or like people being meant for things like super religious even or anything. Like no knock to whatever people choose, just
Yeah,
me personally, but like he was made for that spot to make sure the tennis stayed popular. Like he's dynamic, he's athletic, he's got great
yeah.
personality. Like he's
Well,
just
I didn't want to make this
man.
Alcaraz discussion. It kind of speaks for
He's the
itself.
man.
But
No, I'm just
yeah,
putting like
he's
I mean,
incredible.
and
But
he's got a good. But yes, him and Sinner have discouraged everybody. They've been in 8 straight Grand Slam finals. That's insane. They're close to the record. Like everybody knows they're playing for third. Zverev said it in an interview. He's been much more open with saying everything on his mind this year. Um, and yeah, but Tyrone,
yeah.
it still doesn't mean that everybody else isn't relevant. And the great thing about sports is each new year brings a new set of possibilities, and we absolutely do not know what will happen.
So, I mean, I guess we have to be in agreement with your own. Like, quick hard courts are his best surface, right? I think.
I would agree.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't have quite a big enough serve for grass to be great. So yeah, I think the quick hard courts are good for him.
Yeah.
Boat bounce also a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Hangzhou. I think there are a few more storylines in Hangzhou.
Bublik. Woo.
We got to start with Bublik. I mean, what was this his fourth title this year? Um, Halle, um, Kitchbull, Gestad, and this now. Um, I mean, seriously impressive. We thought there were some injury question marks coming in, but he's really showing that he's just more talented than like 99.9% of the tour. Like, I don't think he practices nearly as hard as a lot of the guys, but he's just his racket talent and his just serve and his ability to read the game is just so superior. And
Yeah,
on a quick court, it's just going to play up, you know?
I'm glad you said ability to read the game. I think that's something that's underrated because people don't that like aren't tennis players don't always think about or realize like how much people being able to read the game. And I'm not going to go off topic with it, but just to like put out there, like when Sinner lost to Alcaraz in that U.S. Open final, like the first thing he said in the interview was like, "I need more variety in my game." Like Carlos has more variety than me, which is basically saying like Carlos reads the game better than Sinner. And I think like one of the huge strengths of Bublik is like, yeah, like he has that incredible drop shot. He's got that feel. Like he'll even hit an underhand serve in there because he understands like just hitting one different shot or just adding that small bit of variety whenever you see your opponent like kind of fixating on something that may be your weakness in general on a given day, just mixing it up a little bit to let them know that they don't always know what's coming next or keep them on their feet, keep them guessing is huge. And Bublik has that huge forehand and backhand and serve. He's got every stroke huge, so he can pin you way behind the baseline, but you also know that he can drop you with great touch and keep you running up. So you really never know where you should be positioned on court against him.
I also
And
think how
yeah,
he's modeled his game is genius because like he's talked very openly about like against certain players, I just don't want to rally, and like he's made fun of it that like, oh, I'm bored doing that, but in a way it's actually more effective because he keeps these guys out of rhythm. And when he's
yeah,
playing well and he's feeling it and he's confident, it's very tough to deal with him. I mean, I know he lost 1-1 and 1 at the US Open to Sinner, but
it's
that
so
doesn't
bad.
really um cancel the fact, which I actually think on his day, he has probably the third or fourth best chance to beat one of those guys in a
Well, he
random.
did beat Sinner. I mean, it
Yeah,
was on super fast grass. It was like it was the best possible conditions for him, but like
Right.
he did beat Sinner, and I think he's like, I mean, there's only like 4 or 5 guys outside of Alcaraz who have done that in the past 2 years: Rublev, Medvedev, Tsitsipas at Monte Carlo, Bublik, and maybe there's one other. Like it's not a
I think
long
that's the
list.
end of the list.
I think that
it
is the end of the
seems
list. I
like
think it's those
It's
four.
crazy.
yeah. This is a. I will also add that while we credit Bublik's title because he's Bublik and because we know how talented he is and we've seen the wins he's had this year, Vukic, Cersina, Yibing Wu, Valentin Royer, it's got to be one of the weakest title wins of the year.
Fair.
Like
It might be
that's
the weakness. I
like there
mean,
was one other I saw that was pretty bad this year where I remember people being like, "Oh, is this really a good title win?" And like, I think obviously we could all agree that Yibing Wu Yibing, whichever way you choose, I think Wu Yibing is technically how I'm supposed to say it, is much better than his ranking indicates. I think that Cersina is on the uprise right now, although his serve is putrid, and that was a
not
massive.
really fast hardcore.
Yeah, Vukic has been terribly out of form, and Royer, while playing well this tournament, has had some pretty terrible losses this year that wouldn't really put him in top player conversation. Like that's not an especially strong title, and it's arguably one that he
Yeah.
really like should have been somewhat almost disappointed or embarrassed to not close out. That was his opportunity to win that.
Well, Brad, what's your take on Bublik?
I mean, so first of all, he's amazing to watch, right? Like absolutely incredible to watch. And it has been cool to see him. Well, actually, I don't even know. Like like I said, incredible to watch. The one thing I wanted to call out is he has saved. I'm gonna pull up the stat. This year he's saved across all surfaces. This includes like the first half of the year when he wasn't very good, or the first 2 3 months of the year when he wasn't very good. But he saved over 70% of his break points this year. He's second on the tour in that.
It's crazy.
I don't know that I would say is the second best serve on the tour, or second best service game. Like he's got a good service game, but I think there's probably some regression coming there. And his break point conversion percentage has been 40%, which might be a little more realistic, but he's definitely playing up on the break points, and he hasn't done that as much in his career previously. So I think there's still some. I still need to see a little bit more, just because that's a little concerning to me. But because to me that could scream variance if he's playing well on a limited number of points. So yeah, like that's one thing to call out. Yeah, he's an amazing guy to watch. Obviously, like his talent, his pure talent puts him top 5, top 10, but he's susceptible against guys. And we saw like an out of form Tommy Paul took him to 5 sets out of at the US Open, and that match looked amazing. And it was really, really fun to watch. But I was surprised and slightly disappointed that Bublik essentially couldn't beat Paul without wearing him down. And Paul basically just ran out of gas. But that's so like I'd probably still put him somewhere in the teens, like, which is really good. It's well above what Bublik's been, but I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Bublik.
It's very hard for me to handicap him because I don't know when that regression is coming. Like it's very hard to pinpoint when it's going to come.
Well, I don't think it necessarily had to come this week, right? To Tennis Wizard's point, like this was a tournament that he should win. Like given the drawing, given the guys he played, like
Agreed. But also, I'm more likely to back Bublik once he gets to a quarter, semi, or final because you know that his motivation is going to be there. And I think he plays better in those spots, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's ironically, right? He lost to Soonwoo Kwon in Davis Cup, who obviously, like, he's a guy who we know he's not playing right now, and so that's why his ranking is low. And Soonwoo Kwon might be a high level challenger guy right now, or might be a
Yeah.
fringe tour guy, if he was really playing. But
He's
he
been
did
serving
was
in the military right now, right?
he's
Yeah,
serving the military. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
because he
But
That's what
lost in like
that's
some Asian
what.
Cup. He lost some Asian Cup match, right? And he had a meltdown in that.
Because I mean, I would have a meltdown too if I had a chance. Like he lost to some low ranked player. He had a real chance because if you win the Asian Games in Korea, if you win the Asian Games, you get exempted from serving in the military. So like, yeah, he had a meltdown because he had to go serve in the military. Like, and that's for his career. That sucks. He's gonna come out like in the 700-800 or something, and then have to come back. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Brutal.
You don't get exempt from that at that point, or like
No.
protected. I want to drop one quick Bublik thing real quick before we move on. So
Hmm.
since May, I didn't realize quite how impressive a year he has had. Won the Challenger in Turin. He takes one bad first round loss to Mapesci in Hamburg, then quarterfinal loss to Sinner at the French Open, wins the next tournament, Tara Wortman Open. Then Wimbledon, he has that crappy first round loss to Munar where he should win the match. Then he wins the Swiss Open. He wins the Generali Open, loses to Sinner in round of 16, wins another tournament. It's basically been 2 first round losses, 4 tournament wins, and 2 losses to Sinner deep in majors. Like that's absolutely phenomenal.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Pretty much can't get better than that. And I mean, he starts tomorrow again. We'll get into that later, but
We'll
gotta have
see.
him on your
We'll
radar,
see.
man.
But
Yeah.
again, he's won in that time since May that you brought up, he's won 8 of his 9 deciding sets. Like it's a lot of scraping through by the skin of his teeth. Now, is that because he's able to turn it on when he needs to, or is that is that a dangerous thing as we look longer term? And the answer is probably somewhere in between. Do I think that a guy like Bublik probably does know when the chips are down and adjust things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I think he can just turn it on when he needs to and suddenly he can win, 90% of his just, 30 and 5 set matches, even against regular pros when those are probably usually 70 to 75% at best? That's probably a little extreme. So that's my
Yeah.
thought.
No, regression to the mean's definitely expected. Like he only faced 3 break points his entire tournament this last tournament, and he saved all 3. He wasn't even broken. So that one I think was
Serve,
just
right? When he's serving well, he's unstoppable. Like
yeah,
when he's making his serve in the box, he's unstoppable. Like
I know.
yeah. But no, to your point, Brad. Like yes, it'll dip off a little bit at some point. Most likely, that would be the expectation. We would love to see it not be that way, but yeah.
I guess let's move on to the finalist, Valentin Royer, who had a fantastic week. He actually on the other side, he had a tough draw, and he still got through. I think he beat
Jeez.
Rublev in straight sets, which is great. I think that was your bet of the week, Brad. 11-1, right?
I bet
Yeah.
the month. Yeah, 11-1 ticket on Royer.
Royer 2-0. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But he got through qualifying, beating Spazziri. And then he beat Kova in 3 in the first round, beat Rublev in straights, beat Lerner Tien, beat Mute, and then took Bublik to 6-6. I mean, that's a hell of a week. Hell of a week.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna digress to you guys because like I was unfortunately asleep for most of those matches. I don't know what you guys saw from him. I saw some highlights which were quite impressive, but I mean to beat Mute 3-2, I mean that's excellent. Just these results alone look great on paper, but what did you see from his game that do you think it's sustainable? Do you think this is just a flash in the pan? Is he fade material going into the next tournament?
I go flash in the pan. I've watched too much of his downside this year, honestly, so I'm a little bit biased. I had an unreasonable amount of money on him to beat Nicholas Arsenault in the National Bank Open where he lost in straight sets. I had an unreasonable amount on a couple other matches that he was not able to come through on, where I just saw incredibly erratic inconsistency and weak mental game. I mean, he can hit the ball, and he looked great this week. And I think a lot of times when these mid-ranked players make a deep run, it's after they have one of those matches that seem like they should have lost and they win and they feel like they're playing freely. Like he was down against Kovacevic in that round of 32, a set and a mini break in the tiebreaker, I believe even twice. Maybe even a break in that second set. And I might be wrong on that. I know he's down a mini break in the breaker. So once he came back from that, and I mean, the confidence in beating Rublev obviously is always going to be huge, no matter what form he's in. But he's got big ground strokes. He's a consistent player. Like when he's on, he's got big ground strokes and he gets them in consistently. But when he's off, it's a whole different story. So no, I don't think it's going to be sustained personally. But I think maybe in a year or two he can start moving up into a point where it's sustainable. But I don't expect him to just. Well, first of all, he did withdraw from his next tournament match.
Okay. All right.
Well, actually, it got canceled against Borna Goyo, whatever, but that might have been no, let's see, Borna lost. So yeah, he withdrew from the challenger. So he's not registered in anything right now. So yeah.
I mean, he's 23 and 15 on hard this year. Against the top 50. He's 2 and 3 in his career, and 3 of those matches happened this week. So I gotta see a little bit more. I mean, I also think it's the best kind of court for him. It's a quick hard court, So
yeah,
and nice conditions this week too, for the most part. Like relative, like I don't know. There's always talk about like the humidity. I don't know how. I have a hard time judging how bad humidity is, but like. The temperature seemed pretty nice. Like it was like high 70s, not windy, which I think is all good, like good stuff for Roy Ertz. There's a few of these French players who I feel like they really, I don't know if it's because there's a lot of French indoor hard courts and maybe they grew up playing on a lot of indoor courts, but there's a few of these French guys that seem like they really like good conditions and where if it's not good conditions, it's a problem. Hugo Humbert probably being the king of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's having his own issues right now.
I'm probably going to look to fade him, honestly, going into the next tournament. I feel like people are going to look at that tournament and kind of overvalue him,
I agree.
I feel like, I think Nate made a good, like you made a comment about an hour ago, Nate, maybe or so, but like there's a lot of guys who can hit the ball.
Yeah.
Like pro tennis is full of guys who can hit the ball. The Challenger Tour even has a lot of guys who can really hit the ball. Like,
yeah,
dude, yeah, that's like for those, I feel like you guys probably both do because I know you're big tennis guys. Like if you watch Cruz Sells content, he constantly talks about like how the margins have gotten so much thinner between like the top 100, 200, 500. Like he's like, there's so many more incredibly talented guys that can hit the ball, and like the margin of what keeps somebody in the top 100 is so slim and arguably like just opportunity based and taking advantage of when you get that. So yeah. A lot of guys can hit the ball, and the technology's gotten better, as a lot of them have said. And I know now, like some people, like Federer and freaking Medvedev, like your Zverev at one point said the courts are getting slower. So a lot of things are factoring into making it so a lot of people can hit the ball, and obviously training always gets better, and population gets bigger, game gets more global, etc. So yeah.
The last guy I want to talk about is Mute. How much higher do you think he can go in the rankings? Has he reached his peak? Do you think he has more upside? I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch, honestly. I love the way he varies heights and spins and paces, and I don't know, like he's a good dog guy, I feel, just because like players aren't used to what he brings to the table. Like people are the players nowadays are most of them hit big from the baseline and that's all they do. Whereas Mute is not that guy. And I feel like it's refreshing to see that. He is currently 37 in the world. I think I don't know how much higher he can go just because of how, the serve and the strokes are just not big enough, right? It's kind of the Marcos Giron problem, maybe.
I think he can sneak into the top 25. Like I think one of our common like themes so far has been how it's relatively erratic outside of the top 2, 5, whatever. So yeah, I definitely think he can reach the top 25. Like he's shown he can compete with anyone. He beat Fritz this year. That was a great win for him. Phenomenal win, actually. I believe he was down match point in that match on
Where was
return
that
as well.
again?
I know I was in my living room watching. I don't know where he was at the time.
I know he beat Holger in
Yeah, he beat
Rome.
Holger, he beat Taylor. Like I know he always acts like he's going to beat Novak for the first like 5 or 6 games of every match. I don't know if it was this year. This year or last year, he went up a set pretty emphatically on Sinner
He
at
beat
a
him
tournament
in Queens.
before.
I think I him last year, but I remember that. I remember him winning.
Yeah,
Like, I think it was like 5-love. He won like 5-love in the first set or something
yeah,
crazy.
and he beat him pretty emphatically in that first set
Yeah.
before getting absolutely curb stomped as most of Sinner's opponents do. But like he shows the flashes. I would say because I know at some point we're going to talk about Zheng Chengsheng. His match with Zheng Chengsheng that he played is one of my favorite matches I've ever watched. If you guys know the one
On
I'm referring.
Madrid, that was
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I got the pleasure of
When he
being
I think he hit the serve and dropped the racket or something on match point.
yeah, like
That
all
was
that shit. Like
incredible.
I had the pleasure of being a gambling addict and having money on that match and watching it live, and it was phenomenal. I was like, there are very rarely times where I'm like, I don't care how much money I have on this tennis match. I just want to watch it, and I don't care.
One of my favorite matches with Mute was against
Point.
Yari in Santiago when he was trolling the crowd. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, he played incredible because that was like good Nico Yari, like top
Oh my
30
God,
Yari.
the opening point underhand serve match,
Yeah, that's
Quincy Straits,
great.
that was phenomenal.
That's
And
so good.
he's like doing this to the crowd at the end, to the
Yeah,
fucking
he
playing
loves playing
crowd
the villain role. I
cheer
mean,
for
he
me.
won 2 Davis Cup matches in Croatia. Yeah, he loves that villain role. I mean,
Oh yeah, he
he's
does.
so much
And
fun to watch.
you gotta love a guy that loves a villain role. I mean, maybe
I
you
mean,
don't love him, but someone's got to do it.
he does act like a
Well, and
dickhead.
there's only like 2 or 3 guys who actually embrace that role. Like we have
Yeah.
like if I've always about Zverev. Like if Zverev embraced the villain role, he could have grown his like popularity so much more. But he couldn't decide what he wanted to be. Like he would try to be the good guy, and it just came across as fake. And if he just embraced the villain, like he really, I think, could have,
Yeah,
see, like there's a few of these guys that could have embraced the villain role and just never did. Whereas
yeah.
it like Mute
I don't
embraced.
think I don't think Tsitsipas has villain in him. I heard the starts
He's too much of a pussy to embrace that role. That's the problem.
Tsitsipas is that's why I called him a lover boy earlier.
Well,
Tsitsipas
I
is
was
not
saying Zverev, not Tsitsipas. I was
Zverev
saying
could do it.
Okay.
Zverev's got the
Medvedev has kind of
footwork.
embraced that, I feel.
Medvedev's like the villain, but he also just likes to troll
he's
and
a
have fun too
he's
much to
him.
truly be
He's
a
a
villain.
troll. I wouldn't say Medvedev's a villain. He's like a troll. There's a difference.
Yeah, he's a huge
I
troll.
guess, I
I mean,
guess.
he's just a character, is what Medvedev is. Like Medvedev is almost embraced, and I dare say the name on this podcast, the Nick Kyrgios role now of just kind of being like that guy that you're like he's
just
doing
likes
something
having
for me.
he just likes having fun with the
He's
umpires.
he's
Like
surely doing something right now. What? I don't know. I mean, Mute beat him as
now
well this year. That's
he
another
actually
one
needs
for
to
Mute.
focus more on the tennis and less on the trolling and stuff. But I
Well,
feel
I
like
don't know about that. I don't think the problem is like he's just not playing good tennis. I don't think he's like
Yeah,
unfocused, Like he's
yeah.
just not
I
like.
don't. The serve has gone. I mean, like I
Well,
know.
that's the problem. So his first serve percentage is down like 2 or 3% in the past couple of years, which is like that's pretty significant.
Significant, absolutely. Significant, and I mean, like I know I had a buddy that had his money line against Opelka a couple months ago, and he double faulted twice in the tiebreaker up a mini break against
yep,
Opelka.
that was the day
Like,
before, and I remember that.
and if you were to make a list of things you can't do in tennis, double fault twice against Riley Opelka in a tiebreaker would have to be very far up that list in terms of things that would just make you slam your head through a wall and go, "Why did I just do that?"
Would it be
I mean,
above or behind double faulting 4 times in one game against Ben Shelton?
Oh, let's go.
was that Yuri that did that?
That was
Yep.
years. Yeah, yeah.
Ding ding, give me points for being
Yeah.
a tennis addict. I'd put that I'd put that as second worst. I'd put the two double faults against Opelka as third worst. And I'd put the worst as Zizou Bergs losing 7 straight points against Mapeshi Pericard in the tiebreaker, regardless of his serve.
I think
Like the French,
the
that's got to be number
Medvedev
one for
one
me.
and the Lechka one happened on the same day,
I believe that that is the case as
right?
well. There is something in the
Yeah,
air
that
that
was
day.
one of the most tilting
Yeah,
days of betting.
yeah. Medvedev and Lechka betters
Yeah.
aimed for the bushes that day.
Yeah.
I think the other one wasn't didn't Lehechka the other time got broken match for like 2 double faults and like 2 horrid errors. Like
Something like that. The first
it was
set,
two,
yeah.
it was two
It
complete
was
self like just
awful. That
meltdowns.
was
But
awful.
yeah, we won't talk about him on this pod, but we've talked about him enough. But he's one of my least favorite guys right now.
Medi?
No,
Yeah.
Lehechka.
Yuri. Yeah, he's
Oh,
Yuri.
no dog. Just absolutely no dog.
Yuri brings an incredibly high level when he's on, and then 10% of the time brings a mind-numbingly terrible level that makes you wonder how he ever brought the other level.
Yeah.
I
Um,
also think wimpy. Like when there's big moments, like out comes the mind numbing level. Yeah.
All the
yeah,
Czech
well,
guys are wimps.
don't get me started on my favorite player, Jakub Mensik, bro.
And
We'd be here all
watching
day.
Thomas Mahak right now against Shimbakuro. I mean, Mahak is the retirement king.
Yeah, I don't want to get into short shorts today. I like him, by the way, but I mean,
Yeah.
we all
All right,
know.
let's take a quick break and then let's get into these two 500s.
All right.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
sounds good. Do we have commercial sponsors?
I wish we did.
All right, welcome back to the pod, everyone. So we're going to talk Tokyo and Beijing. Tokyo's in progress. I think Beijing just started. But yeah, I guess let's start with Tokyo. So it's pretty quick courts, right? Pretty quick conditions. Um,
Low bounce.
Low bounce, yeah. Tough travel spots for a bunch of guys coming from Laver Cup. I don't think it's necessarily the travel spot per se. I think it's more the time difference, right? It's like a 16-hour time difference between San Francisco and
Well, or 8, right? Like it's
Tokyo.
either 8 back or 16 forward, however you think of it.
That's true, actually.
Point. It's a good
That
point.
is very true. Speaking of the tournament, can I speak on like live results as we're doing this podcast, or is that going to kind of outdate us?
Yep.
So I know at the beginning before we went live, we had said that Sebastian Corda was up a break on Giron in the first set of this first round, and that it felt essentially dead for Giron. He did find that break back. It is now 6-5 Giron.
Wow.
Overs smashed by a mile. Yeah. And I know that there are a lot of different
Brad is
opinions
on
on
the dog over combo there, so I'm sure you're happy about that.
Yeah,
it.
I mean, look, honestly, like it's one of those things where like in my mind, like if you get it to that, if you have a plus 150 and you get it to that point, you can't really complain. Like,
I agree.
Yep. Yep.
You're going to get that to go your way more times than not.
yeah.
All right, so without further ado, let's get into Tokyo, the draw. So the top half of the draw, we got Alcaraz. He'll play Baez later today. Zizou Bergs will play the Chengdu champion Tabilo, who we talked about in the first segment. Thompson will play Nakashima. Marton Fucsovics, he beat Tiafoe in a tight three-set match last night. We got Casper Ruud will play Mochizuki. Ruud is coming from the Laver Cup. So we'll talk a little bit about that match. I think Brad and I have bets there. Berrettini, I mean, he was unable to beat Dalibor Spracina, but he was able to beat Jaime Munar. I don't really understand that, but okay. Uh, Damir Žumer will play Alexander Vukic, and Daniel Altmaier beat the newlywed Denis Shapovalov. I commented on the timeline that Shapovalov is making less errors in the bedroom than he is on the tennis court.
Him and Felix both got married at the same time.
Not sure about Felix.
You sure you're not
Oh yeah,
thinking of
maybe
No,
I
Felix?
I'm
think we're
pretty sure
talking
Felix
about
got
that dude.
married. I think they might it might have been both of them that got married in the same week.
Yeah, Shapovalov got married 5 days ago, and Felix got married like this week as well.
Wow. Wow.
Today.
That feels like actually not the worst reason to fade someone. Like that's, I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine like right after your wedding. Like it's a pretty big life moment to like go and like get right back to, a job where the margins are so thin.
Yeah.
Like he probably
The
wasn't
fuck
training on
happiness fade.
like just at a very base level, right? He probably missed training the day of his wedding. And he probably didn't get married in Tokyo, so he had to come out late, like
Yeah, it was in Greece. So it's a big travel spot too.
This asshole. He didn't train on the day of his wedding. What's he doing? He can't see the bride until the wedding anyway. What
Well,
else does
I,
he have
I
to do?
cashed on it. I had the Altmaier plus 240. So and I think Brad has the Altmaier quarter price at 50 to 1, which is now plus what, 6 to 1 or something?
went down to 550. Yeah, it was yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I don't.
That's an
Where's the
amazing
threat
price. I was playing tennis, so I missed it by like 10 minutes. I was
in this
yeah,
quarter
but
supposed to be
Bovada
like
had it up.
Casper?
Bovada has quarter futures for a lot of these smaller events, which can be gold mines.
They really can. They really can.
Who else are we looking at the bottom of this draw? I see Casper here.
Well, let's talk about this top half.
Okay.
So anyone, can you see anyone troubling Alcaraz here?
No. I mean,
Tabilo, maybe. That's the
I
only
would have
guy.
said Tiafo. No, that's Tabila's fallout spot. I think Nakashima can hold serve a lot and like make the scoreline look respectable in theory. I don't
There's a
think he'll win.
massive athleticism gap. I don't like.
I was gonna say that. I mean, if Nakashima were more athletic, he'd have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
watching him against
what
Deminor is
about Berrettini if he plays well? Can Berrettini hold serve a bunch and actually get to tiebreaks?
yeah, but is Berrettini anywhere near the form he needs to be to do that?
It's getting there, which is going to be his problem.
It's like once he gets to that form, he's just gonna get hurt again. Like, sorry, I love him, but it's a pattern at this point.
I think Tabilo is the only guy, really. Big serve,
I don't really,
forehand. If he catches, if he.
I don't really think Tabilo is gonna put up much anything. It's more if Alcaraz just wants to fight himself. If he's not feeling it, like obviously he doesn't always care. Like he doesn't really have much to play for here, and he's not one to care. Like unlike Sinner, he's
He's
not.
got. I mean, I don't know. It depends how much getting the number one for the year matters to him, right? Because him and Sinner are neck and neck for that. He's got that. He's also got. I don't know how much money matters to him, but there's also there's a special prize for like ATP 500 for like the winner of the ATP 500 tour, which Alcaraz is dominating that right now. So if he wants to win some extra, like there's more cash than just the standard prize money here out there for him if he wants to go take that. So there's a couple things for him to play for. I don't know how much those things matter to him, but if they do, there's something.
I also feel that I think both of these guys actually are playing for the points because I think there's a reason why they didn't go to the same 500 this week, Alcaraz and Sinner.
Yeah, I
feel like this is.
I was actually making a joke before I started. I was like talking to my parents. I was like, you think they just text each other and go like, "Yo, I'm gonna play this one. You're gonna play that one. Like, you win this one, I win that one." Like,
I mean, I think they have to know what's going on, and they have to know that they're so far above the rest.
yeah,
I have a feeling. Okay, let's both get let's get 500 points.
Yeah, I do remember on the women's side with Keys earlier this year after she won the US Open, she encountered problems with one of these tournaments because they said her like rank was too high and they had too many people within a certain ranking spot. So I wasn't sure if there's like something for 500s prohibiting a certain amount of people in a certain ranking range playing or if they really just split it because they can.
Well, I thought Alcaraz decided to come to Tokyo because defending those Beijing points would be way harder with Sinner in the draw.
Yeah, but if you're Alcaraz, I think you'd want to like he's like I think if you're Alcaraz, you'd want to be in the same tournament as Sinner. Sinner would be the one who would want to avoid Alcaraz just because Alcaraz has a matchup advantage there.
That's
like
also
everybody else is so far below. There's nobody else in contention. It's just one-on-one at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody else has made a made a walk for it. That's not a very controversial take we're giving either there.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying. So like, why then? Like, so then if you're Alcaraz, why not? Like, there's no reason for him not to chase Sinner. Except again, like I said, there is this, there is this pot of money out there for 500 winners, and like based on how many points you get in 500s, you also get a bonus. It's like this. So I was reading through like kind of the rule book on this. It's like it's kind of interesting. Like they rank you by like your number of points in 500s at the end of the year, and if you get like the top spot, you get X amount of money. And then if you get like 40% of the points, you get like 40% of like this other prize pool. So maybe there's that. I don't know how much they're looking at that though.
Brad, what
Yeah.
was the price on Alcaraz to win the event? Do you remember?
Minus 200, I believe. Or no, maybe not. I think it might have been plus 200. I think he was. I'm trying to look at what his quarter price
No, it can't
was.
be plus 200.
I could believe minus 200. If it's plus 200, we'll be emptying some wallets tonight.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, you're right, Manny. It was minus 200. It was roughly minus 200 or so.
That is insane. To win a 500, I mean, that is crazy.
But it's not, right? Like this is the era of tennis we're in, and especially because it's not like it's not that. I mean, Casper Ruud's the fourth seed here. It's not that strong of a draw outside of the top couple guys, and there's it's a little, yeah. There's not a whole like there's a lot of higher ranked guys not playing right now due to injury or fatigue or Laver Cup or whatever. But
I mean, Alcaraz is coming from
there's
Laver Cup too. It's not like he isn't. I think he's more vulnerable than Sinner is this week. I'll give you that. It's just looking at this draw, who's the one that's going to get him? That's the thing, you know? Like if Shapo was still in
I
the
would say
tournament.
there, but there's a green check mark that's not next to his name, so that probably means he's out of the tournament.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that's funny.
That is funny. Oh my goodness.
All right, well,
Mickelson and Quinn. Jeez.
and we'll talk bottom half now. So you got Ugo Humbert who just lost to Jensen Brooksby. I had a 2-unit play on that.
I didn't bear a 29-1 outright ticket. So I mean, honestly, like if you're gonna lose it that way, that's fine. It's a 29-1. Like you're not gonna win those a whole lot anyways. But
Well, I did say that I didn't want that outright because I wanted to see what happened in the first round and saw what kind of form he was in. Like you were so stuck up on the American food is bad for him.
the problem is if you wait no, but I do think it's a thing. But the problem is if you wait around for that, like if you wait one round, his price goes down to like 20-1 for no reason a lot of times. Like you don't know what's going to happen to the prices after if you try to hit these futures mid tournament. It is a risk.
That
is true. I don't see Darderi going far. That actually could be a spot for Brooksby to make a miniature little run. Although I think that the four below them are much stronger than them.
And Mickelson, Quinn. Mickelson is coming from Laver Cup, so we have to keep that in mind. And then Hamad and Holger. I want to talk about that match because I think that's fascinating.
It's a very strong first round match.
You could say it's very strong, but you could also say it's very weak. It goes both ways in that match, right? So that's fascinating. We'll talk about it when we get to match play.
Sounds good. Quarter one, by the way.
Mahak will play is playing Shimbakuro. Shimbakuro is up 4-3 in the first set. I have Shimbakuro plus 175 set one money line, so I'm sweating right now. Giron and Korda, they just finished, I think, the third set breaker. Yep. Korda took it 7-4. Sorry, Brad. Yeah. Sucks.
You love to see it for quality of tennis. You hate to see it for Brad's bet.
It stinks. It stinks. Nuno Borges beat Watnuki in 3, and he'll play the winner of Diallo and Fritz, which is in progress now. Fritz just held. It's 1-love. So, I mean, I think this half is way stronger, top to bottom.
Agreed.
Shady dudes here, man. Like Rune, Hamad, Makach, Korda, like all really talented guys, but all guys with pretty low floors. I mean, I think you would think that one or two of those guys. Well, the problem though is Makach is coming off of he was the alternate Laver Cup.
Yep.
Rune was the Laver Cup.
Yep.
Hamad looked terrible in Davis Cup. He almost lost to some Israeli guy who's like, I think he was like, what?
Yeah, 700 in the world.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
so
he
Hamad's
was
coming off,
teetering down match point. But then it was great because the sports book froze and it gave everybody an incredible line on that one after the second set was over. But like other than that, yeah. But that's beyond the point. We're not all gambling addicts here. Um, but yeah, that's very valid what you say. And I think that is like once again the theme we're coming back to every 5-10 minutes in this podcast is that so many of these guys have such a high ceiling and such a potential on tour right now. But I think that's really been the case always. I think it's just we notice it more because of the time we're living in. This is when we're
Well,
invested in tennis
let's
that like
talk about the Hamad Rune match. So I think Hamad is now a plus 130 dog. I think that line moved slightly. For me, it's a pure stay away. I don't think there's any match that's more of a stay away than that. I have no first Rune is coming from Laver Cup, right? He had some crazy travel because he played Davis Cup in Spain in Marbella. Then he flew to San Francisco and now he flew to Tokyo. So he basically flew across the world in like 2 weeks. So
well, that's
that's,
actually less crazy than Demonar, who went to Australia for Davis Cup.
yeah, that's true.
Then
San
he came back to
Francisco,
Laver Cup, and then now he's back in. I think he's in Beijing.
Beijing, yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's even crazier. That's true. And then like Hamad is a wild card because he has a high ceiling, but he also has no floor. And he played terribly against that guy in Davis Cup, right? I think that was his last match.
I mean, last I saw in that match, the Holger was favored, and like that's right. Like Holger has to be the favorite,
He does.
and like if you're gonna put it, Holger is the favorite, and if you're not gonna give me like plus money on Hamad to win a set or something insane, like I just don't have a whole lot of interest in a match that's that volatile on much in between. So yeah, that's my thought on that.
If
Like,
I gunned ahead, I'd probably lay the game and a half with Rune, but laying games with Rune is always a bad idea.
yeah, playing anything with Rune is a bad idea these days. You can't bet Rune.
show
Rune's
broke, Manny. Show broke.
Yeah, yeah, 5-3, serving for the first set.
Yep.
Nice.
oh good stuff. When he said show broke, I didn't think SHO. I thought SHOW. I was like show what? Um, yeah, no, Rune is probably the ultimate floor ceiling player. And like he's my favorite player to root for just because of the time when I got into tennis. It's who I picked, and I'm gonna stick by it as a stubborn sports fan. But yeah, I mean, I would make an argument that he is the most athletic player on the tour, Sinner and Alcaraz included. But his strokes are erratic, and his floor is ridiculously low when he's off. He genuinely looks like incompetent at tennis.
I mean, both of these guys are very immature, right? Hamad too.
Yep,
So
absolutely
I just
agreed.
think these guys are. I mean, both of them are very low floor, high ceiling guy. Hamad has a high ceiling. I
I
mean,
think that Holger beat Alcaraz in Barcelona is kind of crazy.
it is crazy. It is crazy when you think of it. It shows Holger's ceiling, right?
Right, right.
Yep. I mean, he can do whatever, but I have no idea either. I'm
Because
also
we
a stay
saw it in
away.
the Australian Open too, and I mean he pushed Sinner to his toughest match, and I think he had break point to go up a break in the third once at all,
Yeah, he
right?
did.
So yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean
that was where Sinner had that like kind of controversial, like sort of stall-ish tactic there.
yeah, he does that all the time.
Yeah, he's a guy. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have the alt over 19 and a half and like that very large and illustrious parlay that looks like it's going to lose on some WTA bullshit that we won't get into, where we had set point serving and
And that
just need.
must be incredibly juiced, but I wish you
Yeah,
luck.
well, we're not going to make it there because we couldn't serve a set out from 5-4, 40-15.
But
Um,
gun to head, who would you back in that match, in that Hamad Holger match?
Holger, I guess,
Okay.
like,
You, Brad.
uh, probably be like, please don't make me bet it. But yeah,
You're not betting it, Brad, are you?
Like I mean, what I said before, right? Like if if you somehow made Rune a dog, I would take Rune. And if you somehow made like Hamad a dog, like to the point where like you get like a decent price on Hamad to win a set, then I would sure. But yeah, anything in between, I think is probably fine enough for me to stay away.
All right. Yeah, so I guess let's go through each of our bets for round one. So I guess Brad, let's start with you in
I mean,
Tokyo.
yeah, so I already had two. Well, I guess you would call. I had your own quarter dog over sets. I guess you'd call that a win ish. I think I ended up like a half unit up on 2 units bets, so not bad. But I lost on Yoshi, which is sad. I had his money line at plus whatever 125 or something in that range. The other two matches I have here are I've got Mokuzuki, set one and full match money line. I got 208, I want to say, 208, 210, something like that on Mokuzuki on the match, and then 170 on the opening set. I mean, I think like look, Rude has never done well in Asian swing. We know why. Quick, low bouncing courts, not good for him. Quick, low bouncing courts, good for Mokuzuki's game. I'd say Mokuzuki's like he's a counter puncher, right? Counter puncher, redirects the definitely underpowered, but that might be okay against a Rude on a travel spot. Again, on a low bouncing court where the heavy Rude forehand isn't as big of a deal. So yeah, really like showing that one. Probably my second favorite bet of the whole night. And then my other bet here was is it already on court, maybe? I had another one here too. Um I've got it written down. Let me look it up.
You were close to the buy as what? Plus 1.5 sets, 7-1.
Yeah, I didn't end up taking it.
Oh, Tabilo.
Oh,
Tabilo.
Tabilo. Yeah, the GBM play, the official
Yep.
GBM. Tabilo. I do have Tabilo at plus one. I think I got 130. I bet 105 against Zizou. It's as much of a fade on Zizou as it is a play on Tabilo, but these balls are the same balls that they're playing as they were in Chengdu, and the conditions are relatively similar, minus the altitude, which isn't like insane. It's not like Chengdu is like Gstaad altitude or something like that. So,
Well, I think that the market overcorrected in that match. Like if you discount the fatigue angle and the Chengdu final and the turnaround, like what is that line? I think Tabilo is a slight favorite.
I don't know. I mean, like I think Zizou still does have a top 50 ranking. Like,
He's
so
not
he
playing
is
like it right now.
right, but I'm saying like he was. I mean, but that you have to factor that in too, right? So like, look, I'm still on it at plus 130, but I can see why the line is the way it is. If you're factoring into below potential fatigue, uh, I'm just not as much like I think Tabilo won. He won one of the warm up tournaments. Maybe when he won Mallorca, did he make him be the third round of Wimbledon or something? Like one of the times that he won a warm up tournament right before an event, he then made the third round of a slam the next week. So
But he
I
also
don't.
won Auckland and then lost first round at right at the
Yeah,
Australian,
look, it's
and he
Tabilo though,
he
right?
made
Like
this he made the semi in Rome and then lost first round at the French. So I see both
but
sides of it too.
okay, but the semi in Rome, there's a whole week and a half there, so I don't know if that's like, and then he just fell off the map, right? So I don't know if that's like mental fatigue, like I don't know. I think like the question is not is it like will he definitely be good to go? The question is it's some percentage, right? You're dealing with some sort of percentage there. I'm comfortable enough with it. I think he's like I said, like the biggest thing to me is that the balls are the same. So the balls are the same, the conditions are similar-ish. So if he can make 70-75% first serves again, he's not losing. I don't think.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree. Yeah.
I also would agree with that, but I don't know exactly how far he will go.
So my my
Um,
my plays. I'll go first. I have Nakashima -2.5. I'm fading Thompson. I think Thompson. I don't think he's healthy still. He played really poorly
Same.
in Davis Cup. Um,
Do you have him on a book that pays retirements?
Um, I bet the spread, so I'm getting plus no matter
Doesn't
what.
matter.
So yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Um, I don't really like laying minus 225 juice, especially with Nakashima, who doesn't have a great,
Yep.
I mean, he's a solid player, but he tend, I
He's
don't know.
Nakashima. I know what you're saying.
You know what
He
I'm
he
saying?
he's
It's hard. At three, I wouldn't do it. 2.5 was just the minimum buy point, I guess I'll say.
yeah.
Mochizuki, I'm with you, Brad, but I want a big price there. I'm on the Mochizuki 2-1 at 5-1. I Since he's so underpowered, I just find it hard for him to win this easily. So I do think Rude wins a set.
We're just the better. I looked at that line. We're just one of the better guys, like fitness wise, on tour. Obviously, there's a travel spot, and maybe he is tired from Labor Cup, and there's a lot of events around Labor Cup and stuff too. Like you see all the Instagram stuff of them, like the
Yeah.
the, the parties and whatnot, and like maybe so maybe he's. But I feel like if Rude's able to get his teeth into the match, like he's. I don't think he's very likely to get worn down physically. I don't know, I think you're. I really want to have the complete no show in my pocket for that match. I think there's a really good chance Rude no. I mean, look, we like literally Rude no shows for parts of the season, right? AKA Wimbledon. Like he literally no shows for. I could see him no showing this event and just, there's got to be an appearance fee here. He still has a big name. Like he may
Yeah.
just show up the appearance fee and be willing to walk out the door.
Yeah. When Mochizuki made the semis here 2 years ago, he played a bunch of three setters against decent opposition. I don't know how much
I
that
will say
matters.
Tokyo, the last couple of years at least, there's been a lot. I think there's been I have the stats on. I think like half the matches. Well, but that's more for lower price
He beat
favorites.
Fritz
So
in three and Popperin in three that year,
yeah,
and then lost to Karatsev. So I just think it's really hard for Mochi to win matches against, top. If he's gonna win, it's gonna be really, really competitive. It's gonna be hard, you know?
I, against a lot of guys, I'd say yes. Like if that was Taylor Fritz, I'd say yes. I think there's a 5 to 10% chance for Rube no show here.
Yeah, I'd rather sacrifice that 5 to 10% and get 5-1 as opposed to 2-1.
That's very reasonable.
So
It's very reasonable.
I'm on the Tabilo money line for very similar points that Brad said, and I'm on the Zhumer Vukic 3 sets. I think this is a good matchup for Zhumer in a way. I don't think the court is necessarily good, but I also think he has a massive rally tolerance edge and a huge backhand advantage. So
Massive serve disadvantage.
yeah,
Where the line is priced where it's at.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not playing either side. I'm staying away, but that's
Yeah, but
kind
if
of what I'm.
Vukic, if there's a set in which he serves 50%, right? That becomes problematic for him.
Absolutely.
Oh,
But it is
yeah,
remains to be
but the
seen,
line is
obviously.
accurate. The line is accurate for that reason. So, um, yeah. What about you, Tennis Wizard? What about what bets do you have for this slate?
So right now, as I said, like I'm really just running the ladder. I kept it light because I haven't been able to focus too much on the tennis lately. And I do have Nakashima on the money line. I do have an incredibly terrible price that no good better would play, but I just simply don't care because if it happens, as I told my buddy, we were committing seppuku together. Alcaraz 2-0. If Baez wins a set, I don't care. I quit. You'll see me scrubbed off Twitter like my good friend who will remain unnamed. Um, and then I got some women's that I know we don't really do women's tennis around here. But I've got a lot of women's bets in tonight. I do tend to focus more on WTA with betting than ATP. Personally, I find it to be more of my stronger place, and I'll go down to ITF occasionally, and I'll also dive all the way down to the UTR shit. So I'll go all the way down the slate. I love to watch men's tennis. It's obviously the best product, but it's not where I put in the majority of my bets, I would say, just out of knowing my own strong spots.
Okay.
I will say I really like that Nakashima money line play. I think like yeah, it's juiced, but like Nakashima is a guy who does seem to be really good at winning, maybe not the best at winning by margin. So I definitely
Yeah,
that money line look at Nakashima is a pretty good look.
I agree. I just think that you should be
What
able to get the job done.
for Alcaraz Baez? What ooh, that it's 8-1 now. Set one money line. That's getting exciting.
105 that was the book. Bet 105 had a little less vig, so they had it at like 9-1 at one point.
Okay.
Now it's like 880 or something. Last I had checked. Yeah, I don't know. I was toying at one point with the idea of like if you could get buys at like I don't know 11-1, 12-1 to win the first set, just based on Alcaraz like being just absent coming off of the
Yeah, I
flight
mean it's a
Laver
totally
Cup.
different conditions too, right? So like this year, Alcaraz has struggled more in set twos than set ones. But in this particular match, I'd probably lean towards betting the bias set one rather than the set two, just because different conditions, the travel spot, the hour, the time change. Um, Bias did play Alcaraz tough in the 2022 U.S. Open first round. I think it was 5-5 before Bias retired. A lot has changed
Yeah.
since then, you know.
I think a
Not with
lot
Bias,
has
with
changed since
Alcaraz.
then.
Bias has been the same player for like 4 or 5 years. Can only play Golden Swing.
I would say he's been pretty poor this year, just overall. Like, has been
Well,
really
he's poor every year. He just vultures these random 250s or 500s.
I think that he used to do a little bit like the July swing was pretty poor for him, and that's usually a pretty good part of the July clay is usually a pretty important
That's
season for
true.
him, and it wasn't so good.
True, true.
I mean, he's still at 34 somehow, God knows how.
Golden swing.
Golden Swing. It's all Golden Swing.
Yeah. So if he accidentally twists his ankle before Golden Swing, he's going to go down to like world number
I mean,
600.
if he doesn't win a tournament during the Golden Swing, he's gonna fall massively.
But he'll always win a tournament during Golden Swing, so it doesn't matter. It's an irrelevant unless he twists his ankle before it. But like otherwise,
Yeah. It really is just the month of Baez then.
Yeah.
Didn't he like beat Zverev or some shit or almost beat Zverev? I'm probably making that up, but yeah, that's his time. It is his time.
All right,
Yeah.
let's
I
move
think
on. Let's move on to
yeah,
Beijing
right?
here. So,
Oh, look, it's your tournament winner, Yannick Sinner. Do we have to do the rest of the draw still?
that's a good point. What was Sinner's price to win the tournament?
That one is -2. That was -200.
That's fine.
Crazy.
Hey, take it
That's
to the
crazy.
bank.
I
I,
mean, it really is not a terrible price when you think if he's like 200. He's lost 4 matches to guys not named Alcaraz in the past 2 years. Like, there is no value on the outrightness. I mean, like the question you're asking is he going to make it healthy for the week? That's the question. It's not a matter
yeah,
of tennis.
itis is a bigger, whether he eats some like bad General Tso's chicken is like a bigger threat to him than
Yeah.
whatever
Okay,
else.
now Taylor Townsend. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Sinner, Chilich, Atman, and Zhang. I'm on the Zhang money line plus 150 there.
That's
Um,
plus 150?
yeah, that's what I got. Plus
When
150.
did you get that, Manny?
I got it on Bet Online this afternoon.
Oh wow, that's flown out. Yeah, that's out to 155 right now.
Wow.
I got it at like 130 earlier. Yeah, that's moved out another 25 cents, which is almost scary.
I'll get on that with you guys. Jesus
Nice family
Christ.
play. Family play. Let's go.
But it's already 2 units, but I'll throw a third unit down on it. Yeah. Actually,
That's
I
absurd, dude.
have one.
All right,
Dude,
we'll have to,
Arman had 2 good weeks.
all right,
Like
nice.
he's fine, but like I mean, like he's good. In fact, I like his game. He seems like a nice guy, but he had 2 good weeks. Like what the
Well,
hell?
I mean, to me, this is a pure 50-50 match.
Same, absolutely. We're playing
Two
value.
erratic guys, Zhang playing at home. I actually think the quote unquote slower hard courts in Beijing favor Zhang more than they do Atman. Uh,
Yeah,
um, yeah, plus 150 is a no-brainer to me.
it's pronounced Atman.
Brad, is that GBM?
Yeah, I'm popping. I'll pop a third unit. I already have 2 units down at the worst price, but I'll pop a third unit down at 155. That seems insane to me.
Nice. All right, Bonsai and Marjan. I'm also on the Bonsai money line at plus one. I think I got him at one plus 135. Um, I don't know. Marjan as
Starting right now.
is a pretty big favorite. Just seems like a bad idea to back him. Bonsai is also kind of has been in good form.
Yeah,
Uh, has
that's
Bonsai played since the U.S. Open? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Right,
But
but
you'd
yeah,
want the court to be faster for Bonsai. That said, yeah, man, a year point out. I think that's why the line is priced where it is, and I don't think you want Marjan
yeah.
as as a favorite in general.
yeah. Marzon. I know that Bonzi, whatever he's a big indoor court player, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
But you can take him anywhere. I
Yeah.
see the value.
Yeah, I guess the surface is being baked in a little bit, but I also don't think that these courts are as slow as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I need a better like source for a court speed for
Yeah.
sure.
I
I'll
mean,
have
if
to
you look at the statistics and the serving stats, it's not Indian Wells slow. It's also a court where, for at least from what players have said, the time of day matters a lot. So it's a little bit similar to Indian Wells actually in that sense, where like at night it plays a lot slower, and then if it's humid it plays a lot slower. And then the other
Makes
thing to
sense.
mention is that it's I think the main stadium, it's called I think the Diamond Stadium or something, and it has a roof or a retractable roof. So you do have the
Yeah,
chance for indoor tennis if there's rain.
Right, right. Yeah.
that is also a good.
Muller Muller is playing Kachanov right now. They're in the second set tiebreak. Kachanov won the first 6-4, 2-1 in the tiebreak as we speak. And that's the oh, so that's the first quarter. Then we got Demonor will play Yu Bu, Bu Yu. Gofan will play Thomas Martin Echeverry. Junshen Shang will play Arthur Kazo, and Kecmanovic will play Mensik. Mensik is coming from Laver Cup. Um, it's a pretty interesting quarter, to be honest. Um,
Very much so, yeah.
I kind of like Bu Yu against Demonor off those crazy travel spots. I think this is a tough matchup for Demon. Demon has struggled against aggressive power players
I
recently.
was thinking the same as well, but I feel like Boo's just too inconsistent.
He is, but remember, he made the semis here last year, so these are the best kind of conditions for him. He does like slower hard courts, I feel. Um,
Is this where he, and correct me if I'm wrong, beat Musetti last year?
yep. And then he forced Sinner to, I think, like a 4-6.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Um,
Hmm,
what's the,
intriguing.
what's the price on Bu Yu against Demon War?
I'm going plus 500. Just guessing. Plus 375.
375.
Don't let me make lines.
Brad, what's your thought on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, so like I agree that Demon struggles against more aggressive, more powerful players, but I feel like that's also usually guys who are um like better players than Boo. You know, to be honest, like yeah, like Boo is. I mean, like Boo's like fun and he's got weapons, but he's also. I mean, there's a reason he's outside the top 50, right? Like you
Yeah,
know,
his
so,
return game isn't really phenomenal per se. I watched him
You're getting a big price though. I mean, I might play the set one money line at plus
I
250.
would never be on Demon. I would. I mean, at this price, I would never be on Demon. Minus
yeah,
500, 4.5 games is
no.
not. Those aren't
Maybe
interesting for me. But the
yeah,
question is like Boo. Also like Demons talked a lot about mental fatigue.
Yeah.
And now you've got this ding, ding, ding travel thing where he's going Davis Cup, Laver Cup, now to China on back to back weeks.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, there was some time in between, 3 to 4 days, but that still is a lot of travel. Um,
What's the alt on plus 5.5 games? Is it like 170, 160 maybe? 185? Oh, that takes a huge jump. Wow.
Juice.
Okay.
Taking a big.
So they really expect Deminor to win like a 3-4 type scoreline, which is what I find most likely there. So that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I don't think so. I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna play Boost at one at plus 250. That's where I'm looking here.
Okay.
Maybe over 21. I think that's a pretty low total.
We've seen Deminor be a slow starter many times. I think that's very fair to
Yeah,
play with.
yeah.
yeah, I think set one might be the way. Like, I think if I was looking to play it, I would want to play, maybe a set one. The Demon over 12.5 player games one at minus 120 is kind of interesting too. That's kind of saying can Boo get to 5 in a set half the time? Maybe.
Yeah, what's the Demon 2-1, 285?
I don't like that. I feel like you're basically playing boost at one at that point.
Three sets is interesting, plus 175. That's getting to the point where I kind of like it. I mean, we
Uh,
saw Demon or I mean, in Davis Cup, he dropped a set to well, he actually lost outright
The
to
Collignon. He lost to Collignon, yeah.
and I feel like Collignon is a
also,
pretty similar player style wise to Bu Yu.
I don't know about that.
I
Boo
don't know a ton about him.
better.
I can't lie. I just know he beat Rude and Deminor in a month, which is probably the peak of his career, most likely.
Collignon.
But we got a set point for my girl Ann Lee here. I am sweating a bet, as is, I have to be. There's a screen below the screen, that's playing a match between something that bothers me greatly, which is how every player just seems to share the same kit as their opponent these days. Shit bores me. I can't stand that.
All right, so
Nope.
let's move on to the bottom half of the draw here. We got Rublev and Kaboli. Interesting first round match. But Kaboli's coming from Laver Cup. Rublev isn't. Lerner Tien will play France Cerundolo, who is also coming from Laver Cup. Manarino will play the Hangzhou champion Sasha Bublik. Mapechi Pericard will play Musetti. Then you got Daniil Medvedev will play Cam Nori. Fokina will play Ugo Carbayi. Mute will play Greekspor, who has been hurt, right? Greekspor recently.
I assume we're seeing Mute as a favorite in that match
We
finally.
are, we are, and
Minus what, 150?
something like that, something like that. And then Sonego is going to play Zverev, and this is my favorite bet of round one. I love Sonego in this spot.
He's been him and Zverev have been two of the most piss poor players over the last couple of weeks. Sonego has not impressed me whatsoever the
Yeah,
last
but
month and a
Sonego
half.
is so hot and cold. I don't with
Yeah.
Sonego. I don't really look too much at previous form, but I like backing him as a big dog, just because he has that high ceiling. Um, I mean,
Yeah.
he's a high ceiling, low floor guy. But if you also look at Sonego's, I think last 3 or 4 matchups versus Zverev, he's covered that number, or he's covered the 3.5 or 4. He can hold serve. And I think this is a really good matchup for him because Zverev is not, I think he's really struggling right now and he's being very passive in rallies. Um,
That's just
Sonigo has
that's just
lost.
what's it?
Sonigo has lost his last 17 matches, and he's won in 23 in his last 24 against guys inside the top 20.
Jeez. Where's the win come from?
Ugo Humbert on clay, which is not a 20 win. Like, that's just like
Yeah, I mean my biggest play is the plus 1.5 sets at plus 115. And then I'm on the money line at 4-1, and I put a small smidgen on the Sonego -1.5 sets. It's plus 750. I'm on the set line.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that this over is. I mean, for a spread and such a gap between these two guys, that over is really high, which kind of sucks. Like, I think if you were gonna play, I mean, if I was gonna play this Manny, I'd probably be looking at that 170 for the 3 sets,
Yeah,
or
that's
maybe
interesting too.
Sonego set one.
And I feel like you'd get much more value on Sonego set one.
Yeah, 240 versus
Yeah,
170.
but also Zverev doesn't make adjustments, right? And Sonego competes, so I think the chance that Sonego wins set two is the same as set one. It's similar, right? And all Sonego needs is that purple patch, right? And he doesn't win, but I feel like he's competitive against top guys, right? Like what like even if I mean he's obviously not winning them, but against Rublev he took him to three. Fritz was 6-5.
That's the funny part. So, like, in 10 of those 23 losses, he's taken a set. So, like, he's capable of being competitive. He just can't win the matches. He is a purple patch guy. I mean,
But I think Zverev is the perfect
one
guy to
here.
find that purple patch in, right? He's going to give him rhythm. He's going to give him balls to hit, and Zverev is just going to like sit back and just loop balls back. Like he's been such a wimp recently. Coming
Yep.
Maybe.
coming from Laver Cup,
Especially with his forehand too. He's really not confident in that forehand
no.
at all.
And he got killed in Laver Cup by Demonor of all people.
Yeah, who he
Oh,
had like an incredibly dominant all time against as well, correct?
I know, I know.
I believe he was 10-1 or something, or 10-0 in that head to head. I'm gonna check it real quick. Speaking of which, in developments that are live, we have Mueller taking a set two tiebreaker
Oh wow, okay.
over.
Pachinov.
Yeah,
I didn't bet that match, but
he's just a large underdog, and he brought it to three. I feel like Mueller's the guy that can take a set off of almost anyone, but he's like usually not effective in set three.
yeah, he just runs out of gas because he's so underpowered. But he competes really
Okay.
hard. I'll give you that. I mean,
Yeah. So Zverev is now 8-3 all time against Demonor. And one fun fact about those three losses is they came at the ATP Cup, United Cup, and Laver Cup, which means Zverev does not play great for his teams or for like one-off events because at all eight like tour sanctioned ATP single man, B-man, whatever you want to call it, events, he has won.
I'd be kind of curious to see how he does at those events in general, because I could see him getting like too like worried about like the teaming that like I feel like it's not like Zverev's head is not the hardest head to get into. I feel like the team environment could get into his head. I wonder how he's done in Davis Cup as well. I don't, I don't know offhand, but
no, he doesn't play Davis Cup once they changed the format. He thought it was like dumb, so he just said no.
good for him. Good for him.
Is that the first thing you actually agree on?
I'm happy they brought back the home and home ties or home and away ties.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we got another Musetti and Pesci matchup.
We do. We
We
should.
got a Medvedev Nori. Wow, it's a good draw.
Yeah, some Grand Slam rematches in this.
So this is the stronger tournament draw, in my opinion.
It's higher prize money too, man. I know you mentioned that.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Well, the MP9 they talked about like why is Pericard playing here instead of Tokyo where the court is faster or Manarino, but like the the prize money's higher. Like
How much higher?
that's all there is to say, right?
Is it because of like the value of the dollar where they are, like the
No, it's
taxes?
just Beijing. They just offer high prize money. It's I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good reason for better players to enter that draw.
Yeah.
I will say
750,000. It looks like I think that's dollars. 700. So the winner gets 750K for Beijing. Finalist 400. Semis 200. You can kind of extrapolate from there. Tokyo winner gets 416. So it's like double. So it's a pretty significant difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference for everybody to watch Sinner get to win. But anyway, fuck. I have a controversial Mapeshi take whenever we have the
Sure,
time for it.
sure. Bring it up.
I don't think that faster surfaces play better for him to an extent. I actually think that his return is so incredibly poor that a slightly slower surface where he can occasionally win a single return point actually plays better to him because his serve is just so absolutely massive that he doesn't need the fastest of fast courts to just nuke bombs at you and win points. Like you have to remember, I believe if I'm not mistaken, his first tournament was on that he won was on clay versus Ekberg.
Lyon. It was Lyon, which is slow sea level clay in France.
Like I think his serve is actually so fucking good that he doesn't even need the court. And like relatively, his return is so goddamn bad that when the courts are just rocket fast, he literally can't win a single return point. I
Um,
was,
you make up you bring up an interesting point. See, I think it's more like the wind and all that matters. Like if you put
yeah,
like Basel, right? Like I would take him there versus any slow court, right? So I think like fast plus lack of wind and other conditions is the best. But if you add like wind and other variables, then I get your point.
This
yeah,
is a hard one to really like know unless you like really watch all the tournaments closely. And sometimes even if you have tennis TV, sometimes it's hard to find or even judge if you are watching the matches. But court size, I think, is actually important, right? Like if the returner can stand, if the court is more space and the returner can stand further back, that's bad for Paracard. And I think it's kind of the returner's style and strategy too. Like I saw Monfils play him at the Australian Open, and Monfils should have won the match easily. He found a way to make it go 5 because he was Monfils, but like he should have won the
yeah.
match 3 pretty straightforward. And Pericard like couldn't figure out how to ace him and couldn't really figure out how to win points. And
Nope.
like and that's a pretty fast court. So I think I think you're right to an extent. Like I think there's a lot like I think with Pericard we get caught up in just court speed, but yeah, his return is so bad that
Yeah.
his return does get better on a slower surface because he can at least get balls back in the court. And then maybe the guy misses a first or second ball. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say ironically a decent part of my theory there was formed off of that match, watching that match specifically. So that was a fun one for you to bring up.
what, the Monfils match?
Yeah. Me and
Yeah.
my roommate were watching that, and he was like also a big tennis guy, and he was like, "This might be the worst player I've ever seen. His serve is just so good." And I was
Yeah.
like,
Now, one thing I wanted to discuss with you guys is the Laver Cup travel spot. Now, how much are you baking it into the line, and how much do you think is like over? It's an overcorrection. Is it really that big of an issue? Like what? I feel like everyone's talking about it, and they're just like blindly fading those guys coming from Laver Cup. But thinking about it, like I backed Fritz. I mean, he lost the first set. Um, but
"Yeah, he did."
he did. Yeah, he just lost.
I just saw a text that said, "Thank you for keeping me
But
away from Fritz."
I also feel like it's being over baked in, and over analyzed.
So the Labor Cup's played in a different place every year, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
It
because I
was
was
in
about to
San
say, like,
Francisco.
I was
So
gonna say, could we gather data, but we can't because it's not the same every time. Because I really I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like this is probably a pretty lame answer, but I've never taken a flight that long myself, and I haven't ever been like that jet lagged or to like that different of a time zone. So I couldn't really speak from personal experience. I don't have data. Like, I mean, I see it happens with players all the time. I feel like these players are all pretty experienced travelers, especially when they're up in like the higher like ranks, whatever. Like they're probably getting first class, getting a good sleep, like are used to teaching their bodies how to adjust to different time zones, different foods, whatever. Like they have maybe their chef with them or something. Like, but I don't know. I could be completely wrong there. I really don't want to speculate too
Are
much because
you
it's not something
are you going to be backing anyone at Laver Cup this week, or it's something you just watch the
um
first round and then after that you can kind of like, okay,
yeah,
he's
I think I'm going to need the first round to settle in. I'm going to be more on the women's side until I can really see the men's side in general. I mean, like, hey, like Kachanov wasn't in Laver Cup because Russia's not allowed and shit, and he's now down a break as well in the third set.
oh wow.
Um,
Okay. What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think there's a few things, right? I think so am I like I think to answer your first question about Labor Cup specifically, like yes, I'm putting an extra fade on those guys just because, and there's a couple reasons for that. One is yes, the travel and the time zone differences, but also like it seems like there's a lot of non-tennis stuff at that Labor Cup that they're required to like kind of required to do. There's a lot of stuff on Instagram, a lot of like media stuff, a lot of
It's an exhausting
uh
3 days. There's no doubt, or an
yeah.
exhausting
So
week.
like
Yeah.
there could be that, and then you're bringing those guys into a new part of the season. So like new conditions, blah blah blah, but also like a post US Open that like I don't know for these higher ranked guys like how much does a 500 in Beijing matter? Probably to a guy like Kaboli matters more than like I don't know, like some of these other guys. So there's that. So like, but I'll say to Nate's point, like, I think after the first round, I'm a lot less. Like, if these guys get through the first round, I'm a lot less worried because then like, okay, then they've played a match, so they're probably like, they've had more time to adjust. It's an extra probably 2 days in most cases to adjust. Like they've shown that they have at least form enough to win a match, so it probably means that they're in decent shape. So in terms of like how much is the adjustment to blind fade, maybe like 5 win percentage points if you want to put a number on it roughly, but it varies by guy. But for me, it just causes a lot more stayaways. Like I'll bet like I'm much less likely to touch those guys, and I'm much less. And when it comes to outrights, I'm much less likely to touch those guys too,
That
because
makes sense.
you're at it. A lot of them too. It's like not only is it Laver Cup, most of us guys haven't played unless they played Davis. They probably didn't play anything between Laver Cup and the U.S. Open. So you're also got like a little, like not a lot of like real tennis. So yeah, those
Yeah.
are my thoughts.
All right. Any
makes
on
sense.
the matches before we sign off?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got one besides this Zhang for tonight. I like Ugo Carabelli in some capacity.
Interesting.
Maybe not to win the match, but either an over or a maybe you win a set. I think the over 2.5 sets is plus 220. I was looking at Davidovich Fokina, man. He usually wins against these lower ranked guys, but I think like he's won over 12.5 games himself in like 14 of his last 20. And that's over the past roughly 14 months or so against guys outside the top 100. So they're competitive-ish matches. And I think he's lost a set like half the time in those matches against guys outside the top 100. Like he
That's
lost to
very
Duckworth
good.
and Cabos, lost a set to Duckworth and Eastbourne. I can pull it up, but he loses. I just think, and I think there's a reason why. I don't think it's just random. Like he mentally does dip in and out, like both in terms of like just overall matches and then like his individual, like his just tactics are poor, right? He's one of the lower IQ guys on tour. Or at least tennis IQ. I shouldn't say IQ, but
yeah.
tactics guys. Um Ugo
Interesting.
Carabelli, for him not being a great hardcore player, like he's a pest. And this is a
Yep.
massive line. Like this is 5.25 games.
This is great. Yeah.
Like yeah, so I think Fokina can I think I like some either the over or I took the over sets and I got 240 for
I'm
three.
probably I'm probably going to be on that. That's a crazy price. I didn't realize it was that good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my play there.
I
Yeah.
like where your head's at with that.
Fokina's lost a set to
Yeah. I mean, the Rome he lost 11-2 to De Jong.
well
Yeah.
he lost a set to Lamos Ruiz at the French who
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
not a
that
terrible
one
player.
pained me.
But Fokina should smack him. lost to Mackey at Indian Wells, lost a set to Mackey in Delray Beach, almost like to a tiebreak against Toronto and Stockholm last year. Like these are like challenger level players, which is basically Carvelli's level.
Right.
Yeah, I think Fokina is very capable here of probably he probably won't lose the match, but he could definitely dump a set. And Carvelli's for Carvelli, like you know he's gonna show up. Does he have much game on a hard court? No. But
He doesn't have the shot shape for it at all.
What?
He doesn't have like the shot shape, like the swing for it. He has a big
loopy forehand. Yeah, big loopy clay style. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's gonna force Fokina to make balls and win points, right? Like off his racket. He's gonna force.
And that's what you're looking for here. Like it's basically a plus 240 on Fokina just dumping a set for no reason, but Fokina does dump sets for no reason.
Right. O'Connell in Paris last year.
Yeah. Someone just moved the line. Someone's listening to the podcast right now, betting on the match.
Yeah, that's a good shout out. I'm probably going to be on that. It's not GBM worthy, but very interesting. Very, very interesting.
That's fair. Ooh, they made an error on one of the lines. They put former major champion Marin Cilic at plus 1,700 instead of plus 170. Oh wait, never mind. He's just playing Jannik Sinner.
Yeah. Yeah. I still have to look at these matches a little bit more closely. I mean, Nori plus 220 against Medvedev kind of looks interesting, or at least the over.
Yeah, you told Boo, right, man? Yeah, I think that one is certainly interesting to look at. I think Nori is interesting to look at.
Can we force ourselves to bet on Mapeshi set 1 against Musetti?
No, I'm not touching that.
Mapeshi set 176.
Yeah, that was such a sweat in at the U.S. Open, and I was like, I don't want to get it.
Ooh, what about? I mean, Kecmanovic Mensik over sets or over games to me seems like not a bad idea, man.
I think this is a great spot for Kecmanovic, honestly. Like I'm a Kecmanovic.
I agree.
Don't get me wrong, but Mensik, his immaturity coming from Laver Cup. And Kecmanovic, if there is a court that suits him best, it's a slow, quote unquote, slower hard court like this one.
Yeah, that's where he won in Delray.
Exactly. I mean,
Kecmanovic, I don't know, man. Like he's the way he plays, like he can compete with a lot of guys. He can also lose to a lot of bad players who he should beat. But it's, I mean, with Kecmanovic, I almost just try to find like plus buttons and click on them. Like, because I feel like it really like there's a wide variety of outcomes with him on any given day.
This is a dog over combo kind of match. I agree with you.
I could see that. When you say dog over combo, does that mean you bet both, or you like put them together as like a same game parlay?
No, bet both. Bet both.
Okay, fair. Yeah. I was gonna say I'd play Fran at minus 115 Cerundolo over Lerner at TN. I think that's just too tight. I think there's a skill gap there.
That's a really, really tough match to call. Dolo coming from Laver Cup as well.
They're definitely cooking.
I'd probably bet Lerner at minus 1.
The Laver Cup travel spot is definitely baked into that line because I agree with you, Tennis Wizard. Like Cerundolo is a much better player than minus 115 against Lerner, but
I also think this is a bad matchup. The leftiness to Dolo's backhand. I think Dolo can, all he really does is just bash forehands.
Yeah. No, that is all he does, which is why he's my hero, because that's all I do. Franz, that's like my big three players I root for: Cerundolo, Mensik, Rune. It's been a mediocre year, to say the least. I do really like Zheng Qingsheng as well. That's an interesting match with Kazo because you really never know how healthy Zheng Qingsheng is. You have no idea. He doesn't really let on. He just randomly gives up and quits like half the time. But
I'm the head. I'd probably be on Kazo, but Shang, that's probably a stay away from.
I agree.
Is those guys? Yeah, the problem is like Kazo's. He's another guy whose level can be anything on any given day.
Dramatic.
He kind of fits into the young ATP Tour guy we were whining about a lot, mold, right? Like pick
Yep.
something close to pick feels right there to me. Both those guys are minus money. I think that's okay.
Um, didn't Shang make a very deep run? He made a very deep run or won one of the Asian tournaments last year.
Yes, I believe
Chengdu. He won
he either
Chengdu.
won or made a final of. I want to say it was one of the 250s though.
He won
Okay,
Chengdu and
Chengdu.
he was Eddie in the final.
Right.
Okay, so he just dropped a lot then, I guess, last week.
Yeah, he was hurt. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, down
And
outside the top 200.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
why we were so pissed when Shang lost to Manarino lost to Wu, right, in 3 sets, and Shang lost to who in 3 sets
No,
last week?
oh no, he lost to Nakashima in 2 sets.
Uh,
uh,
oh, he
it's
won. I think you
Nakashima, yeah.
faded him the first day of the tournament, right? Like the two most physically weak guys.
Yep. I figured it. I faded the two most physically weak guys, and they won in long matches. How it goes.
Um,
Just pure pain. Just pure
my
pain.
final thought, and it could be totally incorrect, is that I would love some dogs in this tournament. I'd love me some Zing, some Manarino, honestly, against Bublik. That might be stupid because we just discussed how Bublik wins every tournament he plays.
Fair.
Kaboli, I mean, I feel like has to be played
No, Labor
because
Cup. Labor Cup.
Totally feels like a playman against Rublev. That feels. I
No,
mean,
no, it's Labor Cup.
Labor Cup.
Labor Cup.
Okay,
yeah,
so the answer
I
is
actually like Rublev.
that's baked in. Like they.
we can clearly tell that Tennis Wizard was not watching Laver Cup very much. So I'm gonna have to go do my research. I know
Uh,
Cam Norrie took a really tough loss recently, but I also know that he had that nice win against Medvedev in a major this year. Like line still stands out to me. I'm tempted to play Mute, barring
yeah,
whatever.
I'm laying the 1.5 with Mute against Greek Sport. I think that's a bad
Yeah.
picture for Greek Sport.
I'll for sure be making some sort of mistake backing Mapeshi as I often do. Yeah, that's probably it for me off of this slate. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly
Sweet.
though, I'm looking at this slate for me. It's a tough slate. Like I said, the two plays I have tonight we talked about already. Manny, I probably will end up on Sonigo in some form. I kind of agree with you. Probably the oversets, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Sonigo play at that line. Sonigo plus 1.5 sets should be a decent price. So maybe
Plus
it'll be maybe I'll do
115.
that.
Plus 115. I'm on that.
Yeah. So that could be good. I love the Mio play. That very well could be my play of the day tomorrow because I think he's very live to take a set from Mensick. Probably because Mensick is also a pretty bad set two player. He does gas
Yeah,
out.
he does. He does. There
Um,
is a trend on that. He is
Yep. There's a strong trend on that. I've witnessed that in person, on TV, on the scoreline.
and I'll be on Boo You in some capacity. I don't know what exactly, most likely set one, but
that feels long, but it also feels like man, like there is. I don't know. I might just take the problem is that money line compared to that spread is like it feels kind of crappy, but like
I want to shorten the finish line with Boo. Like I don't trust him
you still don't trust him to close.
to close or red line. Like he's just too erratic. So I'd rather like take him in a set one.
I don't know, man. Like Demons whined a lot about fatigue this year, and I feel like it's a fatigue spot for a guy who's been
He's
complaining about
whined,
being.
but he's also competed, right? Like he whines after. He doesn't whine during, right? And we're betting
Trying
during.
to see though, right? Like, I mean, look, he didn't look great in that loss to Felix. That was a pretty bad match, I thought, in terms of like the overall tennis.
Agreed. Agreed. He got tight there.
He got beat by Collignon at Davis Cup. Opelka at Cincinnati. Like that's three losses in the past 2 months to guys who are
I don't think
well
Demon is playing good
level.
tennis. Like I don't think he's near his level that he was like in Rotterdam earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. This is way too long. So I want to play Boo in some capacity. I just don't know exactly what line to attack.
Yeah, I think maybe I mean I get it, Manny. Maybe set one's the way. Maybe you're right. I'll have to think about it some more.
Yeah. All right, guys, that will do it. So Tennis Wizard, thanks again for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate
Um,
it. We love having guests on the show and just, growing the community. Thanks again for all your Sharp Circle work. I know you're doing great work
yeah, Yeah, we got some
Yeah,
big stuff to come with
push that,
that.
man.
You
The
guys will
Sharp
be
Circle is a great platform, and yeah, just love it.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
I look forward to growing it more and, continuing to promote transparency amongst all
awesome.
people that post sports picks and
I'll
in
I'll
general.
I'll
Huge
post the pod, and I'll also post our family play that we have on Zhang in a couple hours. So I think
yes,
that's
sir.
cool.
I put that on the sharp circle and I put in the comments section like riding with game bet match. So
Excellent. Awesome.
I'm
Terrific.
excited.
Awesome.
All
All
right,
right, it's
guys.
now
Have a good
1:30
night.
a.m. where
Take
we all
care.
live.